Hello everyone, have you missed me? I'm so sorry I haven't done any videos recently. I've just had so many other things on. But at the moment I'm getting ready for a retreat with some girls here in Tasmania, and I'm doing this tiny teddy in the Hoop project. And I came across an issue which I thought I would share with you and how I fixed it. So because this is an in the hoop project, this outline of the teddy will just be a running stitch, but it will be in the bean stitch eventually, to make it nice and strong, because you will use that to stitch the back onto the teddy after it stitches the face and the other little bits. So I started digitizing, and I thought, oh, rather than click all the way around the outline of the teddy and take that time, I would use the Autodigitized Centerline tool. And this is a JPEG, so it isn't perfectly smooth, but it's not bad, because I think I started with a vector graphic when I was creating it, and then saved it as a JPEG. So I inserted the image as a JPEG. Let's go to the Autodigitizing tools and choose Magic Wand Centerline. And of course the image has not been prepared, so I need to click on the image and the Prepare Bitmap dialog will open. It looks like there's little gaps here, but when I zoom in and pan to those areas, it is actually a complete outline, so I'm okay with that. Even up here in the head, looked like there was a gap, but no, it's all there. So that's what you need to do before you click on OK, is check that all your details are there. I've just got the two colours. It's quite a clean image. So I've got white, and it's not completely black, it's some sort of shade of grey. But at least there's only two colours, so I can just go OK here. I've got enough detail and I've got the right number of colours. And so now my image is prepared. I can select that outline, or hover over the outline so the mesh is appearing, and left click on it so that the stitches will be generated on the center line. And you can, but before I do that, just notice here it goes a bit thinner here. You can see that this center line, this outline has now, when you zoom in, it has quite a bit of variation between the thickness around it, so it depended on the number of pixels, and it's kind of smoothed it out a bit, but created these narrower and wider areas. Okay, I'm just going to left click on it, which will generate the stitches. So if I zoom back out again now, I can just zoom to fit, or I can hit 0 on my keyboard and that will do the same thing. I don't need to do any more auto-digitizing just at this point in time, so I'm just going to get my select tool. I'm actually going to hide the image, and here is my outline, and it looks quite good, but let's do the stitch player. So I've done the stitch player now, and around it goes. I'm just going to pause that there, and I'm going to go out of true view, so, and make sure my outline's turned off. It is, yes, so you're only seeing the stitches. Good, and we'll keep going. It's just a little bit more clear when you're out of true view. And did you see what happened there? It's now going back over the stitching. So you would have thought you would have got a single run of stitching if you used the Magic Wand Centerline, but no, it did 2 runs. And if we zoom in here, you can see that there's actually a gap here. The start is here and the end is here. It looks like it's stitched over here. Let's go to True View, and actually it has stitched right over. I did do this another time, and it actually left a gap there. So it just depends, I think, on the moment when you do it. But if you go back to out of True View, you can see that the start and end of the stitching are not actually on top of each other. So if we go to the Reshape tool, we'll have to select it first. And go to the Reshape tool. The start and end digitizing are right together, but if we zoom right in, you can see there's 2 nodes quite close together, but they're not aligned very well, and I think that's what's caused this gap between the actual start of the stitching and the end of the stitching, even though it's stitched in this gap at least on one occasion going around. But I only wanted it to stitch once around, not twice, so that was the first problem. So let's go back to that problem now. We'll select the object, and how can I fix it from stitching twice all the way around? What I did was go to the edit toolbox and click on break apart. And lo and behold, when I run the stitch plan now, it will only go around once. So I'll just let that go around for you, and you will see that it ends when it gets to that point. So now I've got it just stitching around once. I have got a definite gap here. So it's only when it's stitched around twice that it actually stitched over that gap. I wanted a complete closed object because there's an opening somewhere else. I'm not leaving an opening to turn this because of such tiny parts. There's actually an opening in the back, which I will do this project as a complete lesson after the retreat for the rest of you, but you join the fabric in the back and leave a gap so that you can turn this. Otherwise it's impossible to get the head through the neck because it's so small. But the problem is this gap, so go to True View and definite gap there. All right, how can we fix that? Well, the normal thing you would think of would be to select the object and go to the edit in the menu and click on Close Curve, but those aren't available. Now remember when I looked at the reshape tool when it was selected, we had that kink of the nodes here. And believe it or not, that is actually what's causing the problem, but you wouldn't know that unless you zoomed right in. So I'm trying to give you different things to think about and to look for if you have this similar issue. So we can't close the curve. You will also notice that when you're in the reshape tool, there are lots of nodes, way too many that you if you manually digitize this, you wouldn't get as many nodes because you wouldn't click that many times around the object. There is another tool in the software called Smooth Curves. So if we go to the edit in the top menu, we've got one called Smooth Curves. So let's select our teddy bear and see what happens when we click on that. Edit Smooth Curves. And it's got a precision 0.5 of a millimetre. It will move. I'm not exactly sure what that means, to be honest, but I'm presuming that if something's out of alignment by 0.5 millimetres or less, it will move the node or delete the node if it's causing a diversion of less than 0.5 a millimetre. So I usually just go with defaults the first time, so I'm going to go with defaults here, and look what happens. That gap closed. If we go to the reshape tool, our start and ends are over the top of each other, and if we zoom in, that node that was over here has gone. It's reduced the number of nodes to smooth out the curves. You can see there's a lot less nodes. Let's go out of True View so that we can see those nodes even more clearly. There's a lot less nodes all around the teddy bear, and in this place in particular, oops, sorry, trying to zoom here, there is only one node there now where there were two kinky nodes before. So now it starts and ends in the same place. If we select it out of True View, our little circle and triangle are right on top of each other. All right, so that's how I fixed the gap. It was with the smooth nodes. Now, as I said, this is going to be an outline which is going to form the seam of the teddy bear, so it needs to be a bit stronger than just a single run. So I then did go ahead and select it and change it to a triple run. And we'll go back into True View. You won't really notice any difference, but that's now a triple run outline all the way around with no gaps. So just be aware that with auto-digitizing, it does pick up every little kink in your image and can put nodes in places which are causing problems, and that was the case here at the start and end. Because we had 2 nodes, if I undo back, let's go out of True View, and let's go into, I wonder if I can go into Reshape and undo until I get that gap back again. Here's the gap back again because I can see there's 2 jump stitches here. And yes, zoom right into those 2 nodes. Those 2 nodes were causing the problem. So you wouldn't have had that problem with manual digitizing because you would have done a closed object and it would have automatically closed it for you. However, it's still quicker to do auto digitizing in some instances. Just be aware that using the smooth, it's probably a good idea to always, after you've auto digitized, to use the smooth, well, let's select it so I can get the right name for you, edit, smooth curves tool in the edit menu at the top of the screen. And okay, and that fixes the problem. So I hope you enjoyed that little video, and you can look forward to the full In the Hoop teddy bear in the not too distant future. First weekend of November is my retreat with the girls, and so the week after that hopefully I'll get to post another video if I don't do another short one in between. Thank you very much.